The NBA Finals are on ABC and Channel 5, and we are pleased to be joined by James Worthy, the former Laker great. We are disappointed the Cavaliers are not there. How surprised are you by this Boston Celtic team and how they were able to make the road to the NBA Finals?
Well, I've had some history with the Celtics in the past, and they're a team that, come playoff time, they're not going to beat themselves. You know, they're an experienced team. I'm not shocked where they are, but with the experience that they have combined with some of the youth and the emergence of Rondo, I'm not surprised at all, because in a 7-game series, it's a lot easier to play than it is during the regular season.
How impressed were you with the way they were able to transform from that regular season team through the playoffs? And they looked great against our Cavaliers here in Cleveland, and they looked unbelievable against Orlando as well.
Well, timing is everything. Boston was a team that had multiple injuries throughout the year that kind of slowed them down throughout the regular season. And I think that's why people, pretty much counted them out. But timing is everything. They started to get healthier toward the end of the season. Garnett seemed to be able to play with a little bit more consistency, and they started to feel better. Paul Pierce started to feel younger. Ray Allen, because when you're traveling from city to city throughout the regular season, it takes its toll. But when you get a team in a 1-game, 7-game series, all of a sudden you start to feel a little bit younger. So when you feel good physically and you have a coach that knows how to coach from game to game and make adjustments, and you have a collaboration of veteran players that have the desire to win, it can be difficult to beat an experienced team, regardless of the youth. It only takes 1 or 2 games to shake up a series, and that's what the Celtics seem to be able to do.
Let's talk about the Lakers for a little bit. Kobe Bryant definitely has his game face on from the interviews that we saw just yesterday. They look focused and poised to win a championship.
Well, they're a different team than they were the last time they played the Celtics. Pau Gasol was only here half a season. Andrew Bynum was out for that series, didn't even play. And even though we lost Ariza to the Houston Rockets, we picked up a semi-Dennis Rodman type of player with his defensive ability. So it's a different team, and they know what they have to do this time. Last time, I think it was the Celtics were better, and the Lakers got shocked with the physical play. Same thing happened to the Lakers in 1984 when McHale and Parrish and Bird kind of dominated us with physical play. We came back in '85, and there was no guarantees that we were going to win, but at least we knew they weren't going to beat us the same way. So I think that's what this current team is all about. They learned a lot. They're a better team, and they're not going to get beat the same way they did the last time. So, and the revenge factor gives you a little bit more incentive. So it's going to be a great series.
James, I need to switch gears because we are here in Cleveland. The story here is all LeBron James all the time, as it is on ESPN and everywhere you look. Mm-hmm. What do you think of the LeBron James situation right now with his pending free agency coming up on July 1st? Yeah. Anytime there's a player like LeBron James, who arguably is the best player in the league right now, there's going to be a lot of conversation. I mean, my personal opinion is, if you win a championship, it's a lot easier to exit and leave and go to another team. But if you haven't won a championship, in some cases you look like you might be quitting, or you look like a quitter. So I think he found a home there in Cleveland. I think the ball, however, is in LeBron James's court. He can almost demand who he wants to coach. He can tell the organization, this is what I'd like you to do. And then if the organization doesn't meet his requirements, then he has an opportunity to look elsewhere. But I hate to see players lose, especially players that are as great as he is, knowing that you can still build around him. I think the organization needs to really get serious about putting other all-stars around him. I know Shaquille O'Neal has a great career, and Jameson, you know, he's a former Tar Heel. I love those guys, but I still don't think they're putting the right material around him. You know, you put Michael Jordan or Larry Bird or Magic Johnson on that same team, I'm not sure that they would even succeed the way they did. They need to put some players around him. Bird had Hall of Famers, you know, McHale and Parrish and Dennis Johnson. You know, Magic had Kareem, Worthy, McAdoo. So, you know, I think if he stays there, they're going to have to put some people around him. Otherwise, you know, he's not going to do the Kevin Garnett thing and stay 12 years before moving.
Do you think the Cavaliers made the right move by firing the all-time winningest coach in franchise history in Mike Brown and trying to move into a different direction that way?
I think it was the wrong move. You know, Mike Brown, great coach, was good with LeBron when he had him, but I just don't think they gave him the right material. You know, another prime example was, you know, when Barry Sanders was running back in Detroit, they just never put the right combination. I'm not saying Shaq and Jameson and some of those players aren't great players, but I just don't think they put the right combination, and I don't think firing the coach, you know, is in my opinion, it's a lot easier to get rid of the coach than it is the players these days. So they knew they had to do something, and I look at that as like a political move. Okay, LeBron, we got rid of the coach. How else can we make you happy? When really I don't think, you know, it was a coaching issue.
All right, I have two quick questions for you, and we'll wrap things up. One, on July 8th, LeBron James will be a member of blank team. What do you think?
I think he'll be a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think he's a guy of integrity. I think he's you know, he loves Cleveland. He's said that. You know, you're going to hear a lot of things. You know, you're going to hear him say, my team is thinking about this. He's going to weigh his options. In my opinion, it's going to be up to what Cleveland does and what Cleveland does quickly to make sure that they're giving him the material. I honestly think he wants to be a Cleveland Cavalier. However, going back to the Kevin Garnett stayed in Minnesota for 12 years and wish he had, you know, maybe left after 7 or 8. So it's up to the organization to put the right players. I know Bosch is out there, Parker's out there. They got to put that kind of trio together in order to keep him.
All right, you have plenty of fans here in Cleveland for your last answer. Last question for you. Who wins the NBA Finals in 10 words or less?
I think the Lakers will win in 6 games because they're a much mature team than they were in 08.
Thank you very much. James Worthy, thanks for joining us on Sports Sunday and on Newsnet 5 as well.
Got it.
And we appreciate your time. You are a Hall of Famer to us. Thank you.
My pleasure.